there, my name is John Young, and today I'm going to talk about international trade law. Today we're going to go over different parts of international trade law, beginning with the definition of it, how international trade law is efficient, different parts of international trade law, GATT, and the World Trade Organization. So if we're going to talk about international trade law, first we need to know what it is. So what is trade? Trade is the action of buying and selling goods and services. International trade law allows us to expand our markets for both goods and services that otherwise we might not have available to us. It is the reason why you can get the Japanese, German, or an American car. As a result of international trade, the market contains greater competition and therefore more competition, more competitive prices, which brings a cheaper product to the consumer. International trade law. International trade law includes the rules and customs governing trade between countries. International trade lawyers may focus on applying domestic laws to international trade and applying treaty-based international law governing trade. International trade is the exchange of goods and services between countries. Total trade equals exports plus imports. In 2016, world trade was $30.98 trillion. That is $15.64 trillion in exports plus $15.34 trillion in imports. 1/4 of trade was in electrical machinery, computers, nuclear reactor parts, and scientific instruments. Automotive contributed 9%. Commodities like oil, iron, diamonds added 19%. Efficiency from international trade. Some countries are better suited than others and can produce a certain product more efficient than other country. They could have more workers, like for example China, or maybe more natural resources available to create a product like the Middle East with oil. Specialization in international trade. Global trade allows wealthy countries to use their resources, whether it be labor, technology, capital, whatever they have, more efficiently. Because countries are endowed with different assets and natural resources like land, labor, capital, and technologies, some countries may produce the same good more efficiently and therefore sell it more cheaply than other countries. If a country cannot efficiently produce an item, it can obtain the item by trading with another country that can. This is known as specialization in international trade. Parts of international trade. Imports. Imports are foreign goods and services bought by residents of a country. Residents include citizens, businesses, and the government. It doesn't matter what the imports are or how they are sent. They can be shipped, sent by email, or even hand-carried in personal luggage on a plane. If they are produced in a foreign country and sold to domestic residents, this is an import. The other part of international trade, exports. Exports are the goods and services produced in one country and purchased by citizens of another. It doesn't matter what the good or service is, it doesn't matter how it was sent. Same way as exports. If it is produced domestically and sold to someone from a foreign country, it's an export. Imports come in, exports go out. The General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Formed in 1947, is a set of multilateral trade agreements aimed at the abolition of quotas and the reduction of tariff duties among the contracting nations. General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade's most important principle was that of trade without discrimination, in which each member nation opened its markets equally to every other nation. World Trade Organization. The WTO, which was established in 1995 but adopted many of the principles from GATT, provides a baseline for negotiating agreements aimed at reducing obstacles to international trade and ensuring an equal playing field for all. This contributes to economic growth and development. The World Trade Organization also provides a legal and institutional framework for the monitoring of these agreements, as well as for settling disputes arising from the interpretation and application. The current body of trade agreements comprising the World Trade Organization consists of 16 different multilateral agreements. NAFTA, between North America, Canada, and Mexico. It happened on January 1, 1994. It brought the immediate elimination of tariffs and more than half of Mexico's exports to the U.S. and more than a third of the U.S. exports to Mexico. Within 10 years of the implementation to the agreement, all U.S.-Mexico tariffs would be eliminated except for some U.S. agriculture exports to Mexico that were to be phased out within 15 years. Evolution of international trade. Trade did not just happen or arise here recently. Back in 1640, there was the British and Indian spice trade. In terms of importing, China has managed to maintain its position as a world-shaping trader, a tradition thousands of years in the making. It is currently the world's third largest importer, with an estimated annual imports totaling $1.59 trillion. The U.S. is just above that at $2.273 trillion, and Europe is at $2.3 trillion. These are some of the sites and websites that I used to find the information in my presentation. Thank you for taking the time out to go through this presentation with me. I hope that my presentation has helped you have a better understanding on international trade law. Thank you.